As a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, I've heard this many a time. Yu-Gi-Oh's dead. This killed Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, it was never as good as back in the day. Oh, do you remember in my time when we had this, that? Shall I tell you what made Yu-Gi-Oh worse? ABC, no, XYZ. Listen, I've seen it all across the internet, and I think I'm going to go unscripted here. I'm just going to address the issue. In my opinion, please respect the fact that this is my opinion, and I do want to hear your opinion. What killed Yu-Gi-Oh? Because you know what? There is something that did kill Yu-Gi-Oh, whether it be the anime or the card game. I think there is exactly one thing that killed Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, quickly pause right there. Comment down below. What do you think I'm going to say? Or what do you think killed Yu-Gi-Oh in your opinion? Comment down below and let's see what other people react, and let's actually start a discussion here, a civil discussion, because unfortunately in the forums or on the comment section of certain topics, which, you know, when they discuss this topic, I believe it becomes a bit erratic, and I just do not like that environment. So in my opinion, I think that we killed Yu-Gi-Oh. You killed Yu-Gi-Oh. What are you talking about? No, I didn't kill Yu-Gi-Oh. No. Yes, you killed Yu-Gi-Oh. I killed Yu-Gi-Oh. We killed Yu-Gi-Oh. How on earth did I kill Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, let me put it like this. I started off watching Yu-Gi-Oh when it first aired on TV. This is with Duel Monsters. I remember when I saw Duelist Kingdom, I was absolutely in awe. I used to stay up, I used to wake up extra early on a Saturday, 9 AM, and although that's when I should normally wake up, but the point being, I used to be excited to wake up every single week at 9 AM to watch Yu-Gi-Oh. And the thing is, it was a more simple time, but that's because I was a more simple person. I was a kid. Simple as that. I was a kid. So during that time, the card game really didn't evolve, and at the time, I must say, and I will make a review on this maybe later on down the line if the demand is high enough, I do think that the anime was also faltering in terms of its lack of tension and the story in general. However, it was the first arc of this new series, so you have to give it the benefit of the doubt, and the card game was just something that was snowballing slowly in popularity. People are collecting them for the sake of collecting them. It's very similar to football cards or something along the lines. I had Pokemon cards at the same time as well. Point being, it was a simple time, and if I want to fast forward through that, throughout my time waking up weekly, watching Yu-Gi-Oh week by week, Duel Monsters eventually was finished, and I used to watch the dub. I want to make sure that's for certain, because I used to watch the dub in the beginning. I have watched the sub, and the sub is absolutely phenomenal, but I've watched the dub because in this case, I grew up with the dub. I grew up with Dan Green, and I grew up with the trading card game. I had Joey's deck, and then I made a deck which revolved around banishing, because I always loved the banishing aspect, but I am more used to saying remove from play. And I also made a zombie deck, so you know, the structure decks. I had all those decks essentially. I don't want to blabber on, but what killed Yu-Gi-Oh? I killed Yu-Gi-Oh because of the fact that as the anime progressed, it went to GX, and when I watched GX, in my own ignorance, in my stupidity, I initially said, what the hell is this? What on earth am I watching? This guy's so happy-go-lucky. It was so different. I wasn't willing to change. I wasn't willing to give it a chance. It's very similar to those who've watched and loved Rugrats. When the new series, the other version called All Grown Up came out, and rightfully so, it was a shit series. I was like, ew, what the hell is this? Give me back my Rugrats. I rather watch Rugrats than All Grown Up. It's horrible. So when GX rolled by, it took me a little while to get into it, and I did get into it because of the fact that after a while you once again appreciate Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was thinking to myself, hey, you know what, I'm not growing out of this. Simple as that. I'm not growing out of this. I'm still collecting. I took a hiatus from collecting the cards not in that era, after GX finished, because I have a bunch of the Elemental Hero cards in Ultimate Rare. So long story short, it took me a while to get into GX, but when I did get into GX, I fell in love with it. I absolutely adore it, and I did watch the sub and the dub, because remember this, that the dub was only covering 3 seasons, so the 4th season was not covered by sub. And I know to many fans that watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 4 was their first exposure to watching subbed anime in general. So there is that, and you have to give kudos where kudos is due, or credit where credit is due, because of the fact that, hey, inadvertently, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX may have caused a lot of people to watch the subbed. But I digress. The point being, this is where I made the mistake, and a big mistake, because when I went into 5Ds, I didn't watch 5Ds. I saw the motorbikes and I'm just like, nah. I'm sorry. This is far too much. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. But why did it break the camel's back? Because I refused, in my ignorance, in my stupidity, in my lack of giving someone or giving a show a chance, I refused to watch 5Ds for a long time. I didn't collect the card game anymore. I was like, what is this synchros tuners? And this is where the argument of what kill Yu-Gi-Oh? I kill Yu-Gi-Oh, you kill Yu-Gi-Oh, we all killed Yu-Gi-Oh, because of the fact that we refused to give Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds a chance, Yu-Gi-Oh synchro summoning a chance. When I watched 5Ds, I was thinking to myself, what the hell is wrong with me? I watched it 2 years later. What the hell is wrong with me? Why didn't I watch this when it first initially aired? Of course, you have the other factors of us going through other things, and maybe we fell out of favor with Yu-Gi-Oh. Maybe we fell out of favor with collecting the card game because of the fact that, hey, it could be a bit taxing on the wallet per se, because of the fact that collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards is not the most it's not very friendly on your money. But the point being, we didn't give it a chance, and this gets worse and worse and worse as we go forward. Look, when I went to Zexal, I was like, okay, I just watched 5Ds, and even still, although it was lower, I was not willing to give it a chance. And it's the same with Arc 5, Arc V. I did not want to give it a chance initially, but I did. My love for Yu-Gi-Oh really did push me further to give it a chance. I checked out 5Ds. I absolutely loved 5Ds. I thought that it was such a change, and it really did revolutionize Yu-Gi-Oh. How did it revolutionize Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, first things first, let's talk about the actual game itself. We had synchro summoning, which was completely different. I was like, what the hell? And with synchro summoning and this new mechanic, all these different movesets, and you could pull off these techniques which were not available. Of course they're not available, and it was impossible because you need synchros, you need the tuners, and it just revolutionized the game. How did it revolutionize the anime? I believe that Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds was the start of combo play. I just want to say one thing. Remember that one duel? I'm not going to tell you what duel it was. Remember that one duel when Yusei was dueling? Yusei dueled a lot of times, but when Yusei was mapping out how each card linked to the other like a roadmap in his head, this was the start of combo play, and I think that Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds revolutionized the anime. It did, because of the fact that we got riding duels, we got a new, once again, a summoning mechanic, a new type of monster in the form of synchro summoning. We had an older protagonist, we had a darker theme, we had a more mature outlook on the series. It really did seem like, when I was watching it, hey, this Yu-Gi-Oh, the third series, Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, comes across as a love letter to the fans who kind of grew up with the original series. They know that we're a good few years older, a good 6 or so years older, and the fact that we are probably teenagers now who are everyone wants to be a little bit edgy, or we want to consume more mature media. So with 5Ds, they gave us that. They gave us that whilst also giving spectacular, high quality dueling. For example, we had the duels in Yu-Gi-Oh 5D such as, I just want to focus on the Grand Prix, when we had Team Ragnarok versus Team 5Ds, Team Unicorn, all of them. Even though there are problems and a lot of plot holes with Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, it revolutionized everything, but I was too stupid, ignorant and idiotic to give it a chance when it first aired, and that can be the exact same for Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. I refused to watch it because I saw the protagonist, and in my opinion, I think he's the worst protagonist ever. I absolutely hate him. I think that, and this is purely because I was exposed to the dub first. I always try the dub first due to the fact that I started late and I give it a few months or so to kind of catch up. So I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal once again 2 years later, and Yuma's voice was just was just horrendous. But the sub is better, I do want to say that. But the point being, the protagonist was horrible, and it took me a while. It took me, the first arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal was just horrendous, absolutely horrendous in my opinion. I think that it came into its own, and if anything, it has one of the best arcs in the form of the Baryon arc later on in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the whole franchise that is Yu-Gi-Oh! So it took me a while to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, as well as the fact that me giving Xyz monsters, XYZ monsters as I like to call them, even though people say call it Xyz, etc, etc. Point being, it took me a while to give it a chance, and I gave it a chance, and I at the end enjoyed it. I don't dislike these series because of the fact that they're not bad. They are not bad, they're good. All of them are really good, and in terms of the card game, it does actually progress it. I will go on and I will put the nail down exactly how we killed it, and I'm sorry if I am blabbering because I'm going on a little bit of a run. But when I went to Arc V, and I did watch Arc V, Arc 5, whatever you may call it, YuGiOh was initially, he was an improvement from Yuma, but I didn't like him initially because I'm like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, it was okay. But then the other cast, it became a massive ensemble, but the initial cast of the kids, they were just really taxing on my mind. I couldn't stand them. It was pissing me off. I'm like, okay, it looks like Zexal and Arc 5 are going back to the roots of, they're trying to go to a completely new audience of little kids, and heck, we're not in the memoir anymore. They don't care about us. They don't really give a crap about us. They've already hooked us in. They don't need to do anything. And that's one point I am going to focus on a little bit later when I finish up this. But when I watched Arc V, wow, I'm just going to say wow, I loved it. Apparently people don't like it. I don't know why they don't like it. I love it. I challenge anyone to tell me and have a little discussion with me. Tell me exactly why Arc 5 was bad, and let's have a discussion. Regarding Arc 5, I ended up enjoying it. Pendulum summoning, once again, it's not broken. It is not broken. It can be defeated. But the point being, and this is where I'm going to put the pause and the halt on my little fanboying over the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. How did we kill Yu-Gi-Oh? How did we kill Yu-Gi-Oh? Because of the fact that the players of Yu-Gi-Oh! Refused to progress. They refused to progress to synchro summoning. They refused to progress to Xyz and then pendulum summoning. They refused to become more competitive. The anime watchers, once again, and this is purely because they fell out of love with the anime itself, or maybe they just thought of it as a cartoon. I know many of you who call it a cartoon. They don't regard it as an anime. They call it a cartoon. Hey, I watched the Yu-Gi-Oh! The cartoon, yeah. And they don't know about GX. They don't know about Zexal because of the fact that they stopped watching TV. They stopped watching cartoons. And with that, they'll always have that flawed aspect of the fact that, hey, they believe that everything is crap because of the fact that they've only watched the original series and they didn't even know or care to even watch or try out the other ones. They always say, hey, you know, back in my day, or the original ones are much better. No, it's not. It's just straight up, it's just not. I love the original series, and if you're gonna tell me how would you rank the 5 the series that have come out so far, I can't tell you. I seriously cannot tell you because of the fact that my opinions on these series keep on changing. They keep on fluctuating, and in that sense, the point being, they didn't give it a go. But that's one aspect. The main aspect to the reason why we kill Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because we as humans are horrible competitors. We are too competitive and we go absolutely crazy. Let me tell you why I believe that Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game was killed off, and it wasn't as fun anymore as it was, let's say, exactly 11 or so years ago when I was playing very prominently. The fact is that people who are older, people who have access to funds, they're able to purchase as many packs as their heart desires, and with that investment they kind of monopolize the game in terms of, you have this one guy who has the top deck, he has a playset of an ultimate rare of the highest rarity, of the highest, or the meta tier 0 deck. For example, Raging Tempest is coming out. It probably is coming out. I don't know when this video is coming out, but the point being, if they have a playset of Zodiacs, even though it's high rarity in Raging Tempest in the TCG, it just makes everything harder. There comes a point where you can't beat him purely because your cards aren't good enough, and the lack of creativity is is really hurting the game because of competition. People are, what they're doing is they're spending and investing a lot of money into these decks. They play, sell it off, buy the next deck, or heck, they just keep and hold on to these decks. With this competition and this competitive nature, it is kind of hindering the whole aspect of the trading card game that is Yu-Gi-Oh! But the point being, you cannot falter them, you can't vilify them, because this is what happens in anything. It happens in Pokemon, it happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! It happens in TV. If you're making a TV series, if you're making Monday Night Raw, you have competition, and what you have to do is you have to monopolize the game. You need to invest so that you are as competitive as possible so you can get ahead of the game. End of the day, you can't fault them for that. And with that being said, this kind of bleeds into the anime because of the fact that people are aging and then they start to compare them to other anime. For example, after Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, I watched Code Geass, but the thing is, you can't compare them. Each are a masterpiece in their own regard, be it the ending or certain aspects. But the thing is, Code Geass is the short anime, GX is the long anime, and the people compare them. Stop comparing things which can't be compared. And with that being said, the people on YouTube, the people on forums, and all of you people who are saying, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh's not as it was when I used to play, I don't recognize Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs to it needs to go back to what it was before. No, you need to advance with the times. It's not about you anymore. This goes to my point about when I said that Zexal and Arc 5 come across as it's not for me, because initially it isn't for me. What do they have to do? The main thing is to promote the anime, promote the card game. We are already hooked onto the card game. We are already hooked onto absolutely everything that is Yu-Gi-Oh! If I've already played with my Fire King deck, with my Banishing deck, with my Counter Fairy deck for a couple of years right now, I'm always gonna have that little hand in the cookie jar that is Yu-Gi-Oh! What about the kids who don't know about Yu-Gi-Oh? Heck, not every single child is watching TV nowadays because of the internet. Not every single kid is gonna grow up with the original series, GX, even 5Ds. There are gonna be a bunch of people who are going to grow up with Zexal, a bunch of people who are going to grow up with Arc 5. So you need to actually respect the opinion and take a step back. Come on, have some decency and know that it's not all about our age group, it's not all about us, it's not all about you, it's not all about me. For them to cater my Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs around, they need to also revolutionize, they need to also inspire and hook in a new generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! And with that being said, I think I've kind of gone on for a long while. I do deeply apologize if I have been blabbering on, but I think that we kill Yu-Gi-Oh! And people who are saying, oh, as I've said it before, people who are moaning and bitching about the days of old, you have a point. Yes, it was more fun back in the day. However, you need to go with the times. It was more fun back in the day when there was no internet and we used to play football every other day, or we used to do stuff instead of this new generation who is hiding behind a computer screen, and what they do is, what they regard as fun is not maybe as fun as what we used to regard, or what someone else used to regard, or what my granddad used to regard. Everything is different, so understand the generational shift that is occurring in Yu-Gi-Oh!, in anime, in TV, in media, in sports. So please respect that, understand that, because you kill Yu-Gi-Oh!, we kill Yu-Gi-Oh!, but the main question is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dead? Is it really dead? Is it dying? Is it tailing off? That's a video for another day, and I will tackle that very, very soon. You may now exit. Please make sure to like, share it. Actually, you know what? Share this out. If you have stayed for this long, share it out to your favorite YouTubers, your favorite bloggers, your favorite person who you like to talk to Yu-Gi-Oh! About. I don't think it's dead, man. I think there's a lot more to come, and I'm gonna talk about that in another video. Please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. You may now exit Dimsy's domain. Thank you and goodbye.